Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I have an amazing show for everybody today. And Ryan is here. He's in for Crystal Ball. It's great to see you, Ryan.
It's going to be amazing.
Oh, it's always amazing here. So we have a really good lineup here. We have Ryan and I. We're going to talk a little bit about the 2020 election and where things stand. We're going to talk to Michaela Wilkes. She's a progressive. She's challenging Steny Hoyer. That's another one of our series on interviewing some of these challengers to Democratic leadership. And then Brianna Joy Gray from the Bernie Sanders campaign. She's going to come on and talk about a little spat with Joe Biden. But speaking of Joe Biden, the former vice president originally said he wouldn't comply with an impeachment subpoena. Now he says he might. Things are very confusing. Let's take a listen.
Do you stand by your earlier statements that you wouldn't comply if you were subpoenaed to testify in an impeachment trial before the Senate?
Correct. And the reason I wouldn't is because it's all designed to deal with Trump doing what he's done his whole life, trying to take the focus off him. I would, in fact, abide by whatever was legally required of me. I always have. But again, this is going to be the news today. And I'm not criticizing anybody here. I'm criticizing myself because I answered your question. I shouldn't even answer the question because in answering the question, now there's going to be another round. We're not talking about what did Trump do.
Well, it's pretty unclear to me whether he still says he's going to comply or not, Ryan. But really what this comes down to is the jeopardy that the Biden campaign faces is if Hunter Biden or any of these other things were to be brought up in the Senate trial. I know that's kind of murky and unclear. It doesn't even sound like it might happen, but it's a big problem for him.
And that came after a tweet thread where he said, let me clarify my position on this, and the thread didn't clarify it.
No, he clarified nothing.
So at least there he's saying, I will comply. It sounds like what he's saying is he'll challenge it in court at this point, and if the court finally rules against him, then he'll go. But it raises a lot of questions about his candidacy. Say what you want about Hillary Clinton. She was subpoenaed to appear in front of the Benghazi committee.
13 hours or whatever.
She went, and she made mince work of those ghouls.
Oh, she made them look like idiots. Yeah.
So, she can prepare. She does the work. Joe Biden does not do the work. He does not prepare. And if he did prepare, if he prepared for that Des Moines Register thing and wasn't ready for that question, then goodness. So clearly he and his campaign are worried what Tom Cotton is going to do to him on this, or whoever the prosecutor or defense attorney on the impeachment trial is, and presses him. Okay, Hunter Biden has said the only reason that he got the job is because his last name was Biden. Were you aware of that? Well, you according to the New Yorker, you and Biden spoke. Right. You and Hunter Biden spoke about this job. Elsewhere, you've said you never spoke about whether or not you had the job. Was the company happy that the prosecutor was fired? Right. And so, his main defense is, I did nothing wrong. Talk to my son about whatever he did, and I was just carrying out U.S. policy.
And let's also remember this. I mean, what came out of that impeachment inquiry from the House hearings was the testimony that Biden was specifically warned by a member of his own staff about Burisma. Now, he says that never happened. I mean, did it happen? When were you made aware of it? Were you made aware of a conflict of interest? All we're saying here is, look, I mean, also, I thought it was a uniquely Trumpian denial, right, about saying, like, oh, I will not succumb. I mean, the Democrats' entire criticism of the Trump campaign's handling of the impeachment inquiry was, well, they're not giving us any witnesses, they're not complying, they're saying it's an illegitimate process. That's essentially what he's saying, or what he said in that tweet thread in particular.
And a lot of people who are sympathetic to Biden came after Biden for that. Yeah. Because one difference with liberals is that, say what you want about them, they will stick to a principle if their person deviates from it. And so Biden deviated from it. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. This whole time,
it undermines
we've been hammering Trump for, and liberals also, they love nothing more than process. Whatever the outcome is, that's fine. As long as the process was fair. And for Biden to challenge the process, like, whoa, if we're going to get some populist doesn't follow rules, let's just go get Bernie Sanders in there.
So from your perspective, do you think he's actually do you think he'll actually end up complying with a subpoena, or will a subpoena even be issued? You've been following the impeachment inquiry closely.
I don't think they will because McConnell's plan seems to be just get this done, and this seems to be his move to say, hey, Democrats, you really want to drag this out? Okay. Then let's bring Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. And, hey, you know what? He says that nobody in the administration warned him about this. Let's bring that guy in. And then Schumer might be like, okay, you know what, fine, let's do the 2-day thing.
Well, this is a good point because it shows not only could we keep the senators off the campaign trail during the trial, as we could also keep Joe Biden sitting in the U.S. Senate, leaving Pete Buttigieg to sweep the early states. But all right, everybody, we have our radars and a whole lot on the show, and that's up next.